Welcome back to 101 Sports. I'm now joined by our resident NBA experts who love this time of year more than any other, Billy O'Riordan and Alex Sharon. Guys, let's talk about the first round here. Just wrapping up. I think all the series are done. We've moved on to the second. But looking back, what was the best matchup in that first round? What was the most exciting, Alex, starting with you?
How can it not be the Grizzlies versus the Spurs? I mean, this Grizzlies team that not everyone was paying attention to. Rudy Gay was hurt at the end of the season. Many people were writing off just because of that. But you see Zach Randolph really just blossoming. Marc Gasol outperforming Powell early on in the series. And they're looking great in the second round also. I've loved watching the Grizzlies.
That was great and all, but your most exciting first round cannot be when Zach Randolph's the best player on the floor, and we're talking about Popovich's Spurs. Snores fest of teams. Most exciting
Did you watch the
first
games?
round. I did, but the most exciting first-round series had to be the Nuggets and the Thunder. Every game but one
It went 4-1.
Okay, so a 5-game series, one less than the Spurs. Only one game was a blowout. The rest of the games were decided by 4 points or less. You cannot say that about the Spurs-Grizzlies series. Those games were great. We saw Kevin Durant go to another level, two 40-point games.
They were decided very closely, yes. But only the first game where the Nuggets truly in it, except for the one that they won. Except for the one that they won.
So that's already 2 games.
The other games, the Thunder were in complete control. That was not. There was no question who was going to win that series.
200 points a game between the two of them.
It doesn't matter.
It was awesome.
All right, guys, enough living in the past here. Let's move on to the next round. And by the way, Zach Randolph, we're talking about who the next Russell Westbrook of this playoffs is. Might be Randolph. But let's think about this next round and a matchup specifically for players. Which player is making the biggest difference in the Mavs-Lakers matchup? Is it Dirk or Kobe? Billy, start with you.
I think we learned who it's going to be from the last round the Lakers played in against the Hornets, where they took 2 games from the Lakers because of Chris Paul. First scoring 33 points with 14 assists, and then a triple-double in Game 4. The only 2 victories for the Hornets. That tells me that everything else even, since Dallas is definitely a better team than New Orleans, if Dirk can take over 4 games, the Mavericks take the series. Kobe doesn't compare.
Now, if you're asking me who the best player in the series is, it's Kobe, without a doubt. But the most important player to his team has to be Dirk. You look at the minutes played. Kobe in the wins against New Orleans, the most minutes he played was 35. The lowest Dirk has played in the playoffs so far is 37. And he is, if you take him out of that lineup, that team does not score. We saw last night in the fourth quarter, the Lakers survived without Kobe. The Mavs can't survive without Dirk. He's the hardest matchup in the league. And there's nothing that they can do without him on the floor.
I'll tell you what, Kobe's best game in the first series was Game 1 that they lost when he scored 34 points. So clearly the Lakers can make it without Kobe. The Mavericks, nowhere without the big German Dirk.
Interesting. Well, we talk about these matchups. You're saying Dirk might be the best matchup or the worst matchup for the opposing team. Let's talk about a guy that will create matchups in another highly publicized series with the Celtics and the Heat taking on each other in the East. Who's going to be the catalyst player for that series? Who's going to make the difference? Alex, starting with you.
Well, we saw in Game 1, Mike Bibby was playing out of his mind on Rondo. He defended him phenomenally.
Wow, Mike Bibby.
I don't think that this will continue. I don't think that he can contain him the entire series. I think that the player that's going to have to step up to win the series for his team is Chris Bosh. He is the swing player. We know that LeBron's going to play well. We know that Dwayne Wade's going to play well. The key is Chris Bosh playing well against Kevin Garnett, a phenomenal defensive player, and if he can get it going, then the Heat had this
Who
series.
look like they're cut from the same cloth, by the way. They're like the same player.
Yeah, Chris Bosh and Kevin Garnett have been back and forth every single game that the Heat and the Celtics have played. And I'll tell you what, if it's down to Chris Bosh for the Heat to win the series, there are a lot of crying Heat fans out there. The player that makes the difference in this series is Rajon Rondo. When I look at this, the big 3 cancel each other out. Wade v. Ray Allen, Pierce, LeBron, Bosh, Kevin Garnett. That leaves Rajon Rondo, who is an excellent talent, great point guard in this league, going up against Mike Bibby, Mario Chalmers, Eddie House. I don't think so.
But you know that
Rondo can take over this series.
You know that Rondo is the favorite in that matchup. You look at Kevin Garnett and Chris Bosh. They played each other evenly in the first game.
Okay. They played evenly in every game, win or loss for either team.
That's why if Bosh can step his game up, he will be the swing man for the Heat to win.
Interesting, guys. Interesting. And I'm surprised to say Ray Allen and Dwayne Wade are on the same level, and LeBron and Paul Pierce on the same level. That's surprising to me.
Historically speaking.
All right, we'll see what happens in this matchup. We'll see if that happens, or if we'll see who makes the difference. It's time to step away once again, but on the other side of this commercial break, Christian will hear from our NHL experts. Who is the most important player remaining in the NHL playoffs?